Guess who's back?
Back again.
Back again. Harrison Graham and Jeffrey Cooperstein back for more because the Mavericks news and rumors just don't stop on the week of the trade deadline. Marc Stein, Coop reporting that Bobby Portis could be a Dallas Maverick as there have been exploratory talks between the Mavs and Bucks around a Grant Williams for Bobby Portis switch. We'll talk about that here momentarily, but hey, this is the time to subscribe. The Mavs tip off in like 10 minutes. We still want to talk about the latest trade.
Had to get it.
So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. We got you covered throughout the season and especially over the next 72 hours or so leading up to the trade deadline. Do not miss out. Sub for more Mavericks videos. All right, Coop, let's dive into this a little bit here. You look at Bobby Portis' remaining contract here. It fits with the Grant Williams deal. Like, there's enough overlap there that, in theory, a one-for-one swap financially would work. He's got this year remaining, and then next year, and then the player option for 25 and 26.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, I like Bobby Portis. I think he played an integral role when they won that title a couple of years ago. He brings just an edge that you like to have to a team, which, quite frankly, you were hoping Grant Williams brought. I don't think he can match Bobby Portis' just like, I don't know, back alley type of dude where, like, if he's on your side, you feel like you're going to win.
You want him. Yeah, we've kind of talked about that sort of them needing an edge with a guy like Alex Caruso, but I think Bobby Portis brings that in a position of need for the Mavericks. He's mainly coming off the bench here for the Milwaukee Bucks, averaging 12 points, 7 boards. Pretty efficient. He shoots okay from 3 as well, which is actually something that surprised me.
He's added that to his game the last couple of years.
Yeah, that definitely surprised me, and I think he would be just an awesome fit for this team, especially if he can come off the bench and Derek Lively gets healthy. I think that would work out perfectly. You get a guy to where Lively doesn't have to play 40 minutes a game. You can play Bobby Portis 20 minutes, and I think that would be a fantastic combination. You could even play him at the 4 if you really wanted to.
Yeah, he can play 4 or 5, you know. He can play both spots there, and I think he just gives you more consistent play than Grant Williams does.
At a position where you need more consistent play.
He's not going to have those random 7 for 10 3-point outbursts that you get from Grant every once in a while, like we got one of those recently, but he's going to give you the kind of 11 to 15 points more often. He's going to be physical defensively. Maybe he can't guard as many positions, but he can still guard the 4s and 5s pretty well.
And that's what Marc Stein kind of said is why the Bucks are interested in Grant Williams is because of his positional versatility, especially on the defensive end.
Well, and their defense has slipped
exactly
by going from Jrue Holiday to Dame Lillard, which is why the coaching change, all that stuff. Another reason why I'm intrigued is, well, his contract's shorter, and we haven't loved what we've gotten out of Grant Williams so far, so you get potentially an upgrade, and if nothing else, you get a guy whose contract is A, more movable if you wanted to flip him in the offseason because it's a shorter deal, and B, he's off your book sooner.
Yeah,
right?
Added flexibility for sure would be a key part in acquiring Portis. Grant Williams just hasn't been what the Mavericks thought he was going to be this year after signing him from Boston in restricted free agency, and that's unfortunate because I really think that Williams is a guy that could have helped the Mavericks a lot this year. We just haven't seen the same Grant Williams that they got in Boston. There's a couple of factors that I think play into that. Number one, I don't think he was ready for the expanded role, despite him wanting that role. His body clearly wasn't ready for it. He started out great. Then his body ended up breaking down. He kind of got hurt, missed some time, and once he came back from that, it never really recovered from that and hasn't put together consistent performances. I think that's a part of it, and I also think he just hasn't meshed well with Luka on the court. Doesn't really know where to be as far as his spacing goes, and it just hasn't worked out so far.
He just lost confidence after that injury. Like, early in the year, like, to me, like, his job offensively is, like, sit in the corner and be ready to shoot.
Absolutely.
And he was doing that, and he's just, like, hesitant to shoot all of a sudden. Like,
and you could say the same for a lot of Mavericks players. I think Maxi Kleber's that way, too, where they're just very hesitant with their shots.
It's like, dude, that's your job. Like, you're not a slasher. You're not a guy who's putting the ball on the deck. Like, your job is to play defense and shoot open.
Got to let it fly.
Like, it's not that complicated, and he just has not done that at nearly an effective enough clip over the last couple of months. And look, Bobby Portis is a little bit of a different player. He can shoot the 3. He's not going to do that consistently, but I just think he gives you other type of scoring, whereas Grant Williams can't. Like, you could put Bobby Portis on the elbow, the baseline, and he can post up and he can give you points that way. Whereas Grant Williams, like, if he's not shooting the ball confidently from the perimeter, it's like, where's the scoring coming from?
Yeah, and Grant Williams hasn't been as effective on the defensive end as the Mavericks had hoped this year as well.
Yeah, so you add all that up, and I would swap Bobby Portis for Grant Williams. Type Y for yes, you would do that. Type N for no, you would not.
Let us know in the comments if you wouldn't.
Yeah, and I don't think this is like a trade that like turns you into some major contender, but I think it's a minor upgrade, and I think it gives you versatility.
Yeah, it balances out the roster for sure
salary
and
cap
gives you
wise.
something that you desperately need.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Y for yes, N for no. Also, get started with Prize Picks. Super Bowl Sunday is almost here, but you can play Prize Picks every single night with the NBA, college basketball, NHL, and more. All you got to do is go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100 when you sign up today. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You're not playing against pros and sharks. It's just you versus the stat projections. For example, we got some Super Bowl more or less numbers here, and they're giving you a deal. Patrick Mahomes, half a passing yard. That's an easy. You take the more there. Isaiah Pacheco, I like him to find the end zone. I think Deebo Samuel is less on the receiving yards. I think they're going to try and take him out of the game. Kansas City is, which could lead to more Christian McCaffrey run there, which is why I like the more on his receiving yards. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Make up to 25 times your money on a 6-player entry. Link is in the comments and in the description. Get started today with Prize Picks. All right, let's shift to like what would a trade look like. I mean, obviously the financials would be around the 1-for-1 swap, but even though Milwaukee is interested in Grant Williams, I would be surprised if they straight up gave Dallas Bobby Portis straight up for him.
Yeah, that would be very surprising to me. Now, do they want additional draft compensation? I'm not sure. So this is kind of something that I cooked up that I think is pretty even for both sides. The Mavericks receive Marjon Beauchamp, and then the Mavericks also send out Jaden Hardy. So it's Portis and Beauchamp for Grant Williams and Jaden Hardy, and I think that's pretty fair because the Mavs get the best and the worst player in the deal.
Yeah, I mean, you're upgrading at your best player, and you're downgrading with the depth piece, right? Like, Beauchamp's playing like 15 minutes per game for Milwaukee this year, which probably on average is actually more than Hardy. But I think in NBA circles, Hardy's arrow is pointing more up
for sure
than Marjon Beauchamp's is. A guy who was a first-round pick a few years ago, but he's just never, turned that corner in Milwaukee. I actually like the field goal percentage. The three-point shot is up, but maybe he's just one of these tweener guys that can't find a consistent role for the Bucks, which – that's kind of been the case for Hardy, too. Is he a point? Is he a two-guard? Maybe you're kind of just resetting those careers for both of those guys.
And I know, like, Milwaukee wanted Beauchamp to be in the rotation to start this season.
Yeah,
so
there was a big report before the year. Like, they expect him to be a consistent contributor.
And I guess that really hasn't happened. And like you said, you could say the exact same thing for Jaden Hardy, where that really hasn't happened here in Dallas either. So maybe a change of scenery for both of those guys really helps out. But at the end of the day, this is about Bobby Portis and Grant Williams. And I think a Portis and Lively rotation at the big spot would be fantastic. You get Lively playing 30 minutes a night. You get Portis playing 18 to 20. And I think you have one of the better 1-2 punches at the 5 position in the NBA.
Yeah, and maybe a few of those minutes from Portis is at the 4. I don't think you can play him at 4 full time.
No, you can't. Absolutely.
So the question is, if you make this move, then you're really thin at 4. It's like Kleba, and then I think you're probably having to play Omax more.
Yeah, and which I kind of want anyways. I want to see Omax in the rotation more. I know he's a little bit raw, but you got to get this guy some playing time. I think his length and athleticism could really help this team, and we haven't really seen that yet. So this does free up a spot for Omax to potentially get more time.
Yeah, maybe you play Omax more. Maybe there's a second minor trade that you find, a guy who can give you some minutes at the 4. But keep that in mind. Like, we all have been frustrated with Grant Williams, but he's still a big minutes eater at a position that you lack right now.
Absolutely.
So, like, if you trade him and you're not replacing him with the true 4, then you are creating a bit of a problem in that regard, although I would still probably do it because I think Bobby Portis does help.
Yeah, it's not as simple as, let's trade Portis for Grant Williams right away. You do have to think about what the fallout would be if you trade Grant Williams and you're that thin at 4. And if you trust Omax, maybe you lean towards doing it, but if you don't and you think you're not going to get production from that spot, that probably gives the Mavericks hesitation.
Well, and like, you can't trust Kleber to stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's actually played okay since
Well, the
injury
problem with Kleber as well is he's not strong enough to guard fives, and he's not athletic enough anymore to guard fours. So
yeah, so he's a
what does he
tweener,
do?
too. Yeah, it's
It's
the
not
roster construction comes into this. That's the point of that part of the discussion. So would you do this trade? Type A for accept or D for decline. All that being said, I would still do it because I think the ceiling of your production with Portis gives you a higher ceiling. So I would probably do it. I don't think it just cures a bunch of problems, though. I think it helps one area a little more than it hurts the other area.
Yeah, I think I'm doing it. I'm doing it as well. I just think it raises the overall profile of this team and gives them something they desperately need.
Well, what I like is we've seen Portis play a key role in a title.
There you go.
I like that.
You need winning, you need an edge, and you need a center.
He can start, he can come off the bench, so I definitely would be a big fan of that. All right, that's it for today. We wanted to get you caught up on the latest Mavericks trade rumors. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow for at least one episode, maybe two, if there's a lot of stuff going on. Hit that subscribe button. Stay in the know.
Enjoy the game tonight.
Check out the game, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.